let me just say, as somebody who's always, considered myself to be pretty liberal-minded, the moment this campaign started, for example, to allow trans women who are biological men and they become identified as trans women, okay, I've got no problem with people being trans. If they want to do that, I respect them. I want them to have rights to safety, equality, and the rest of it. But the moment somebody tries to persuade me that allowing biological men who identify as trans women to compete in women's sport against actual women with women's bodies, which are, because we separate the sexes and things like the Olympics, which we know are inferior in terms of power and strength, endurance, and so on, the moment people try to persuade me that is fair and equitable, I think they are absolute lunatics. And I'm not even sure they even believe it when they say it. So part of the problem here, it seems to me, and I'll bring Ben in here to comment on this, but part of the problem is that the trans lobby has brought a lot of this stuff on themselves. Right? If they had just gone about this in a different way and had fought simply for equality, I would be absolutely leading the charge. But
cease to exist?
Well, hang on.
What do you want them to do?
I want them to have equality and safety and fairness, but not at the expense of eroding women's rights. Ben?
Well, I agree with that. And fundamentally, the feeling that you're a woman when you're in fact biologically a man is a mental health issue. That's how it's defined. And of course, if someone wants to identify as a woman, even though they are a man, fine, that's their prerogative. But for the regulatory and legislative environment in which we now live, effectively to progressively discriminate in their favour, not for them to be equal, but for them to have the right to go into women's loos, compete with women in sport, go into women's prisons, all these things is an assault on the very form of liberalism that emancipated women and brought women to an equal footing with men. And now, in the pursuit of what I would call ultra-liberalism, we're setting aside women's rights. We've lost sight of common sense in our society.